Welcome back, everyone, to Rivals Fight Night. And look at here, you're gonna see Kaluge become Tilda Swinton in real time, just sending all these people out into the nether realm and just hitting their green bodies with all the goodness. Welcome, everyone, to Rivals Fight Night. I'm Golden Boy, new host. Puckett's not here, but I'm taking over this time around. This time I'm joined by two people who I actually love quite dearly. It's Jake and ZP joining me here today, guys. We've been up and down the road doing esports for God knows how long, but now here we are, untethered by the leashes of corporate America, and now we have an opportunity to pave our own pathway alongside all these incredible teams here in Marvel Rivals. I don't know what I'm saying. ZP, it's good to be here with you, buddy.
Dude, it is awesome to have you here on the show. you know what? Puckett's like, I'm gonna be drinking, doing some Halo this weekend. Can't catch up. It's like, you know what? We got someone in mind that we have a lot of history with. That is awesome. Of course, this is in the Shroud Gauntlet, but GB, it's always great to work with you. And also, big shout out to our first matchup today. We're gonna have a bunch of dedicated fans from France here in the chat too. Always out here to support the boys.
Oh yeah, the French community's coming out big, Jake. Love to see it. I'm excited for this one, man. It's going to be good because I haven't had a chance to watch any EU. So what should I be getting ready for here?
I mean, really, the biggest question in EU is, can anybody stop Virtus Pro? They're waiting for us in that money match. Of course, they've been holding the title for pretty much as long as we've been running Rivals Fight Night. So whether it's Team Peps or Team1 advancing from this challenger match, they have an extremely stiff opponent. Virtus Pro has had a chokehold, frankly, on Europe and has not been allowing any challengers to have a chance. So while I'm excited for the French fans, they're going to need to come out in a huge way and support, because Team Peps, they need a lot of energy to run through two incredibly difficult teams. Team1, just about the worst team branding you've ever seen in your life. But that's because they're looking for an org. They want to let that know. They are actually a pretty good team. And so even this challenger match is going to be a tough test for Team Peps.
Yeah, I know Team1 have faced off against VP a few times here. Of course, these are the matches that we're going to be checking out today. But here's the history of Fight Night here in EU. And you'll see VP, outside of, a couple blips back when Luminosity was in play, but they're Team1 now, right? Of understanding that correctly.
So some history for you. In Fight Night number 4, VP were unable to participate. So Luminosity was able to win that one. And then the very next time, Virtus Pro comes back and unseats him. So Virtus Pro has a 100% win rate of the Fight Nights that they've shown up to.
Damn.
That's kind of par for the course across the Marvel Rivals Invitational, from the Marvel Rivals Championship. Virtus Pro just eat their foes alive. And you can see how many of these games are 3-0. I mean, like, no one has put them to a series point yet. That's crazy. That level of dominance in an esport, you really don't see that often. And, I wonder how long VP can keep this up, because it's tough to be on top. You got a big target on your back.
Yeah, ZP, Jake just mentioned that they're eating these people alive. Why is VP cannibals?
I mean, VP, they're just a team where they have it all, right? Where look, in terms of their taste and whatnot, these are players that go all the way back to highest levels of hero shooter play in games like OW, and they just grab some of the best talent around in the EU region, and they've been stable. This is one of the few teams that hasn't had to make any roster changes because, well, when you're this good, what are you going to change? Who are you going to kick off the team when you've won everything? The greatest glue to keeping a team together is just win everything. And I mean, look, across the board, I mean, you got Nevix, where, me and Hex joke, our very first
Nevix
Overwatch
is on
cat.
The same?
Yes.
Hold up.
Nevix is
the
on
OG. The OG.
Oh, snap. Okay,
you're going to recognize a lot of names on VP,
Run
bro.
it back, VP. Run it back. Just keep going. I'm sorry, everyone. It's cooked. My boy Nevix is in the server. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. That made me very excited, Steve.
Yeah, well, you're the very first person that me and Hex ever casted. Like, all the way back, like, literally first broadcast, and I've been doing this 10 years. So, needless to say, they have veteran talent on the team, and they are very good in Rivals. But, looking at what we have here today, Team1 and Team Peps both very, very promising in my mind. Where Team1, the former LGEU team, very much up there as like the perennial number 2, number 3 team in Europe, period. They really have not changed from that spot for a long time now, and I mean, they've gotten better and better over time. The person to watch, of course, on the duelist end is going to be Naga, who, you think back into some of the more name war metas, was effectively untouchable to any other team than VPs. So I mean, this team right now, I think, is one of the most interesting to watch. And if you look at even last week, though they lost 3-0 to VP, it was a very close 3-0, where it's not like they got
really could have gone the other way. I also think
Yeah.
Melio is the new addition to this team, and Melio really impressed me. He looked like one of the best players on the team, was really going blow for blow with Naga. Like the two of them together were fighting incredibly well, and I thought the Psylocke in particular was great from Melio. He was competing with Sparker, who's pretty much the best in the business from VP when it comes to that role. So Melio is definitely another duelist that I've got my eyes on. I think Team One are actually closer than the results would seem to suggest in terms of being able to upset and take down those top dogs. And they want another shot this week, but they're going to have to go through Team Peps, which I'm curious to see if they can put up that challenge, if they could be maybe a new contender to take on VP.
Yeah, well, here's Team Peps. So am I understanding it right? This is a French squad coming in hot, right? Or is that?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
And it's,
So,
I believe,
exciting.
created by Feifei, who's like, long time, French participant in a whole bunch of different things in OW on, the casting and management side of things. But also, I mean, you have some really high quality talent in here that goes back ages, most notably, if you think about the OW scene, it would be Hardest and Leaf, right? Where these players are both very phenomenal, especially coming in from the duelist role. But they've made changes to a lot of the rest of their roster relative to the Team Peps that we saw in week 1. So this is kind of the new reformulation of Team Peps. And truthfully, don't have a ton of data on the Scrimbuck hotline, but I've been assured that they've been competitive is where we're at. So we like to give teams a chance, and it's been like 12 weeks since we've had Team Peps back in here. It was about time to give Team Peps another run at it.
Yeah, and look, man, someone's got to take down VP. Could be Team Peps. They could be the ones to do it. Who knows? I mean, you never know, right? I mean, VP's very good, but that's always going to be a challenge here. I mean, we saw, as you'd mentioned, Team One losing 3-0 last week, and even though it was very competitive, it's still like VP still pulling off the wins. That's so difficult to have to deal with. But we're gonna wait for the game to get going here, and then we'll jump into the action. But real quick, okay, if you're watching and you happen to like what we're doing here, if you're watching on Twitch, why don't you go ahead and follow? We're so close to 10,000 followers on the channel, so why don't you go ahead, help a brother out and follow this bad boy? Okay, follow right. There's a little purple button. You just click it. You're good to go. Not even a subscription. Okay, you just follow the channel. That's it. So you can be notified when Rivals Fight Night goes live every single time.
That being said, you got a Prime sub. Throw it our way. We're not above that. We're not above that. We are desperate out here.
I'll hit you with a couple good, like wrestling intros if you want for a couple Prime subs. Not to be annoying, of course. Because we want to focus on the game here. But hey, throw it out there. Let us know. Support what's going on here. Truly independent esports production, as it should be. So if you give a crap about it, throw a couple ducats our way. That will be really, really helpful. And then, of course, if you don't want to do all that, which, that's mean, you should. We got an Intel giveaway that's actually going on as well, ZP, right? You can win. Yeah. What's the Intel thing? Because I'm not good enough at the hosting thing yet for you guys.
Well, it's rivalsfightnight.com, and you can pick up an Intel CPU for free. That's right. It's top of the line. All the details are the bomb. Rivalsfightnight.com. Just go in there, sign up, and you can get for free. But now, GB, here's the really interesting part. This is the new draft format that's coming on.
Wait. What is this? Is this from the new one, or this isn't Fearless? We're doing something different, right? Or this is
just more bans and picks.
More bans and picks.
And like those two bans, simultaneous bans. Interesting. They both ban Torch.
Yeah, might have to bring that graphic down for Peps a little bit to the side. But yeah, okay. So Torch goes.
And so these are the single team bans, CP, right? So the i.e. you're banning only something stopping the other team from playing it. So these don't block your own picks. So it'll be very much like a new meta. First two simultaneous teams now. Loki goes down for Team Peps.
So you're banning it for them?
I believe so, right? That's the new format.
So it's asymmetric bans. So the heroes that you ban are not banned for you, which is why you have Torch banned on both sides. Asymmetric bans. Each team gets 4 bans that they can target at the other team. So you can really go out of your way to target ban the top performers on the other team if you want. Like if one player has a hero pool that's 3 specific heroes, you can target all of them and not necessarily hurt yourself in turn. So the strategy that you go here can be more tailored to the team you're playing against. And for reference on this format, from what I understand, the Ignite qualifiers are not using it, but the Ignite main tournament will be using this.
Interesting.
Okay,
teams
so a lot
want
of
to
the top
practice.
teams want to practice, of course, assuming they're going to make it to the main event and be
Yes.
a big threat, playing at the top level. Okay, that's where you want to be, prepping this new format. So we're going to bring it to the fans live here today and kind of showcase it. It's interesting seeing some similarities here. The biggest difference, though, actually, well, there's no differences so far, right? So like at this point, they've equalized the different ban order, different priorities.
They're just removing the
for Team
annoying
1,
ones. That's all they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I do think the
Torch.
Luna Snow ulti is something a lot of people want to get rid of. Magneto Protect is pretty interesting, though. I don't know that Magneto was really the top preference when it comes to the ban pick. But also, so far, Groot is untouched. Groot was, for a long time, was like a staple first ban, in the series.
It will be when we get to VP. Let me tell you, VP still does not want to play against Groot. They will chop down that tree. Even though Nevix may be the best Groot in the world, is the funniest part about that.
Peps does it too.
You know what was explained to me? I forget who told me, so this is generic enough that's safe enough to share. But I think it was along the lines that VP bans Groot not because they're not the best Groot team, but because they think Groot adds enough variability to the match that they could theoretically lose in a Groot match. Therefore, they don't want to play it.
I believe that.
Yeah, the
Actually,
Groot
can't very
wall
much
being
move
able to
on.
split support ultis, I think, is actually really challenging to consistently play around. Invisible Woman Protect goes off. I wonder if Team 1 would respond with the group ban. I feel like they should. I'm honestly surprised Team Peps didn't protect themselves, but they're going to ban Wolverine. That's
Pick your hero.
interesting.
Or villain.
I mean, that is, yeah.
Team Peps, I think it's sort of been a staple for them. Like Leaf looked really strong on the Wolverine previously, but Wolverine had fallen out of the meta pretty heavily. Like I don't think we've seen much Wolverine at all in the last few weeks. So it's still a little bit surprising to see the Wolverine ban. And now Team Peps can play the group, right, if they want, which is a little scary to me.
Yeah.
From Team 1's perspective. Like Groot was, we haven't seen Groot in a long time because Groot has been perma first banned in like every series the last few weeks because it is so good. Hell's Heaven is another pretty solid Groot map as well. I'm kind of curious to see what Team 1 does to deal with this.
Yeah, that is, it does feel like it could be a little bit of an imbalance, but perhaps, they're testing out some things as well. That's always a possibility to see what works out for them. Let's not forget, this is a great opportunity for the teams to really get in there and try new things out. So we'll see how that works out. But of course, fellas, I'll let you guys go ahead and yap from here. But I'm excited for this one. Should be good.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And Team Peps are going with something that is a little bit more common in EU. They're deciding it's Spawn Dwarf shenanigans. Never mind. It's going to go more in a Mantis Warlock comp. They were showing signs of going the Cap Jeff comp, but they decided no. But they're still changing it up here, Jake, actually. But okay, it's just standard Jeff spawn room stuff. Now, makes a lot more sense. Triple strategist out here from Team Peps.
Yeah, there's a classic comp from them. Triple strategist, Star-Lord, able to do a lot of the carrying. And then, of course, Leaf on the Adam Warlock is going to be able to do a lot of the DPS that you might be normally losing from having that third strategist. Team 1 playing a much more mobile composition. They're going to have Melio on the Wolverines. They'll need to do some heavy lifting. Trust me, though, taking a lot of pressure. It's hard to get in, getting focus fired on the Hulk and already knocked down to the smaller Bruce Banner form. Good start to the fight for Team Peps.
Yeah, Peps right now withstanding not a care in the world. Right now, both teams just building up ults, but down one. I mean, it puts Team Peps in a really tough spot. Beetle now, or rather, Team 1 in a tough spot. Beetle was getting focus fired, was able to finish off Puny Banner. DRP though, and onto Naga, and Team Peps, slowly but surely, they're grinding it out. And once you lose one versus a triple strategist comp, Jake, it's kind of hard to bring it back.
Yeah, they're going to commit ults, though. Copying, keeping this point in contest, but so many kills have gone in. It feels like it's a matter of time right now. And even the focus fire onto the copy cloak and dagger, enough to get that burst kill. Team Pep's going to be very happy with opening up that first fight. And despite Melio getting a really nice grab in there on the enemy Groot, DRP was there in just the right moment to pop that bubble, save him, and stabilize the fight. And so right now, it's looking, I'm a little worried for Team 1. Like, I'm not really seeing the vision of this comp. It's like they've got a lot of different pieces, and it's sort of two all around for me, where Team Peps looks so strong fighting as a unit. I mean, this is to actually successfully get a kill.
It's a very defensive domination round 2, where trying to get back in versus Root Walls is just an exercise in pain. But we'll see if Team 1 can do it. Trust me, leaping on in. Naga looking for pickoffs, already pretty low here. Meteor M from DRP coming on out. Hardest able to res back in, takes down Naga at the same time. So Hardest is able to self-res. Naga, of course, is not. So already up 1 right now is Team Peps. Loki gonna clone out the strategist ult. Keep the pressure on here for Team Peps. That just gets to walk forward a little bit, but they lose Beetle. Melio able to go in with the last stand. Cuts down 2. A little bit more room here for Team
Big
1,
res.
but the Karmic Revival's coming on in, and the fight is not over yet.
Yeah, that res really stabilized things to fight. Wolverine finding the opening he needed. The ultimates are coming in response. Team Peps fighting back. However, full energy Wolverine starting to tear into this group, starting to chip down that health bar. He's getting so much support, but it's not quite enough to get it over the line. And Team Peps seem to be finally crumbling under the overwhelming pressure from Wolverine. Needed a little bit more focus fire on this Wolverine. Some counter threat coming in. A strange portal potentially here to stall. No, it's too little, too late. Late pickoff from Leaf, but I don't think it's really going to be a difference maker here. They're going to get cleaned up eventually. They're going to strange portal in as well, but they don't have that many players alive. ZV, this is getting very awkward for them.
Yeah, I mean, also the point had already flipped, so it's not like you're getting extra delay in another moment, but I guess they just want the contest here. But again, you're kind of feeding people in the Melio right now if you go in without a full 6. I actually don't understand going in on the strange portal there while you're waiting for respawns. Team 1 is punishing them viciously for the attempt.
Oh my God. Okay, Wolverine is starting to get very active in this game, getting a ton of value. So Team 1 still with the faith in that Wolverine, starting to pay off now. But I feel like there's a bit of an unforced error from Team Peps. I think they should have just taken the reset, come back in for a retake. They would have been in a decent spot. Instead, they kind of throw away quite a bit of stagger and stall, really bringing Team 1 back into the round. And now you're coming into the retake. You're coming up on another Wolverine ult. By the way, he's been farming those like crazy as well. Winter Soldier, close to having that ultimate as well. Could be a very powerful way to dive in and go over the top of Team Peps.
All right, Team Peps looking for a way back in hardest. Up to the sky. Galactic Legend, good to go. Likely going to be one of the first things popped here in the fight. Up and over. Still looking for the opportunity. They actually get Banner, or Hulk, into Banner form. Take him on out. Lose hardest. Hardest able to go for the quick re-res. Now up and over. Galactic Legend still being held. Meteor M dropped on in by DRP. Not going to connect. Team Peps still working one up here so far. And Hardest right now just continuing to wait here, Jake, for the right opportunity. But now finally sees it. Melio down. The Wolverine threat is gone. And we got the Galactic Legend here in the back. But the Eternal Bond so far keeping Team 1 nice and healthy. Able to take Hardest out of the sky. But here comes a Karmic Rebirth.
Yeah, the Revival gets him back into the fight. Now, Trust Me comes into the back line with the Ultra Hulk, starting to pump a lot of damage. But Team Peps solo holding strong. The health bars look steady. Groot coming in with that ultimate. You don't have a proper defensive tool here for Team 1. They could be vulnerable. It's been a long, drag-out fight, but Team Peps have drained a lot of these key resources. Groot looking for that big connection. Hulk is incredibly low as well. They're looking to find that opportunity, trying to sweep forward as a unit. Here's the combo coming out from Groot. It leads to that one instant kill now. Loki is fallen. Hook, though, pulls in. The saves are there perfectly to keep Hardest alive and in battle. Fight getting a little bit scrappy now. Kills going both ways, but it seems that Team 1 have gotten the better of this.
Team 1, Team Peps though still hanging in here. DRP may be down, but Team Peps starting to churn out, get the last eliminations here on the point. And Team Peps, we're in overtime, but they're gonna get a flip, and this is gonna go to what may be one final defensive fight. The sustain of Team Peps hanging on in there, and now Team 1 full reset. May have a few options in terms of vault economy coming up in regards to the cloak, but Team Peps able to bring it back.
Trust me, gonna go over to the cap. They're close on a lot of ultimates, though, so if Team 1 can start to stagger this fight and make it go long, they definitely are going to be coming into potentially all 6 of their ultimates. However, the start of the fight is scary. Team Peps have a lot. Cloak and Dagger ult already comes out trying to keep this game going, but so too is the response from Mantis. So Team Peps fighting strong, going together. You got the copied Loki as well, able to double down.
Galactic Legend in from Hardest, looking for pickup, but the hook pulls him down to the ground, eliminates some of the focus fire, still has a little bit more time here in the air. Meteor M though from Ajaro, trying to finish off. Over in, hits 2! And the 2-man Meteor M for Ajaro may have just sealed the deal here for Team 1. Leaf, close to the Karmic Revival, is going to use it here, so Karmic Rebirth out, but I feel like Team 1 can just rush on in and clean them up as they spawn.
Oh, the massive ulti here coming in. But Winter Soldier's not able to find the executes. Trust me, popping the cap ult. Team Peps need to stabilize into this. It's a difficult fight ahead, and they're dropping like flies. No one's on the point as well. The overtime ticks out. Strange wasn't quite there in time. And that's round 1, going the way of Team 1. It was hard fought, and I feel Team Peps kind of slipped up there. I felt like that was a winnable round for them. The scrappiness, the awkwardness of that retake fight that Team 1 was able to secure really did give them a rebirth into that round.
It was the Wolverine, guys. It was that. I mean, it was the Wolverine and the Hulk. Like, it was so great to see them just go in there and disrupt the entire time. That did you not like the way that the Groot was completely occupied with the Hulk? The Magneto literally couldn't pull his attention away from him. I actually kind of like this composition that they were running.
I think for me though, like not only did they make the most of opportunities that they got, but I also think they got gift wrapped the opportunity from Team Peps. I just think back to the middle of the round, the strange portal where they're already down people and they just walk in for the 4v6. It's like,
they just walked to the front door of death. It was a meat grinder.
Yeah. And back out next round here.
And Team Peps are going to go with the Cap Jeff style here. Available for both teams. Oh, no, just the Jeff used his speed out of spawn. It's going to be back to the Invisible Woman this time. I'm curious to see how this flanking strategy comes out. Now both teams playing more towards that mobility.
Yeah, you take a look too for Team Peps. They're off the triple strategist, so it's going to be more decisive fight-wise in general. DRP immediately hooked in and executed. One up is Team1, and now they can just kind of walk forward here a bit. If you're Team Peps, you probably want to disengage, wait till full 6. That's too difficult of loss here at the beginning. But Team1, you don't want to overchase. You got control of the point. You find Beetle as a little bit of cleanup. You're feeling good about the flow of battle right now.
Yeah, and they might get even more here. They're not interested, it looks like, in letting Team Peps get the clean reset. They're coming in for more. Cap is low, but he's still playing with a lot of confidence, has the sports behind him. Naga would love to get that last second finish, and they even find the Magneto, further adding insult to injury, stalling out this fight. And so Team1 are going to get quite a lot of capture progress after this decisive team fight victory. They could even forward hold if they want to. It seems like they're backing off for the moment, but Cap still threatening the possibility of getting into one of those aggressive engagements. A lot of ultimates to come down, though, in this next fight. Should be more decisive. Team1 have a slight edge, but both teams really have a lot to bring to bear in this battle. It's going to be more about who gets more value rather than just the overall bank of ultimates. Expect to see both teams drop all 6.
If you're Team Peps right now, you got to be worried about Melio with the last stand. At times can be really sneaky in the setup, grabbing someone. Hardest though, gets pulled in, interrupts the Galactic Legend. Absolutely devastating for Team Peps. Of course, Hardest gets a little bit of plus refund back at 72% meter. And
Nice
in
hit.
for DRP, gets one. The cloak, in fact, too. So strategist-wise, Team1 now in some danger. But here comes Naga, the equalizer, cracking it back to already, finding one as the reset, looking for another. Into the backline, gets the Star-Lord. And Team1 able to solidify after what could have been a tough start.
Yeah, this could be the map right here, ZP. It's going to get staggered out, kill after kill. Still resets here coming in for Naga. He's going to be able to farm and to keep this ultimate going an extremely long time if he wants to. Yeah, like he could have it into the next fight. He's going for like the super long delay. There's even one more clone if he wants to reset one more time. Oh my God, he's going to have the fight. He's going to have it for the next fight. They played for this. He might be able to re-engage. Still a few more seconds left on the ultimate. It is the only tool in the toolkit.
He goes on in, drops a Kraken Impact, forces out the regen domain immediately. Still pretty worth as is. Team Peps, though, everything has to be on the table here. Hardest once more. Galactic Legend, this time not brought to ground by a hook. Into the back line, looking for it. Meanwhile, the rest of Peps in the close quarters, able to pick up 3. So Team Peps not going to go down without getting a little bit of control here, Jake, but they have a long way to go, 0 to 99.
I mean, they made it expensive for Team Peps, and that was essentially free from their perspective, right? They were just snowballing that Winter Soldier ult through the last team fight, so getting like double value there, able to put themselves in a strong position. Like, they don't have their ultimates quite yet, but they have a bit of a lead on the economy.
All right, Team Peps needing to be perfect from here on out. Gonna have to win some of these fights down in economy. I do like the fact that they push out a little bit, just make the approach from Team1 a little bit more expensive time-wise.
Nice
I see
hook.
Beetle just in the back. Yeah, hook comes on in, and DRP able to finish it out. Trust me, down, up 1 is Team Peps, and you need picks like that in the neutral, Jake, if you're trying to come back from this deficit.
Yeah, that's critical from Leaf. Kind of bridges the gap, too, to some of these, you know, bigger ultimates they were trying to farm up, putting them in a better position to make the defense. Still, Team1 coming into their own bank. They're going to have a good chance at the retake. Looks like the pathing choices to be going into that right side. They want to get a little bit closer to the point. Melio always looking for pickoffs, but Wolverine tends to be on a bit of a clock in these fights. If you're able to kite him and delay him, he's a little bit tougher to play on the retakes. You see Melio taking that sidelong route, trying to get into the back, trying to find some target for his leap.
Well, here we go. Naga punishing Beetle with the Kraken Impact. Gets the instant reset, so Naga gonna be going to the air here once more. Looking for where to drop it. May go for Loki Clone if need be. Invisible Boundary, meanwhile, gonna be dropped here by Team Peps via the Loki Clone. Leaf, Kraken Impact of his own. 2 down, another big pickoff here from Naga. And Naga may have just done enough here for Team1, but getting caught in the back, able to drop the Kraken Impact, gets DRP, and this one looking about over here on map 1.
Yeah, Team1 has done enough. They're starting to snowball the picks. It's just really Hardest continuing to fight on, but even he will be chased down by the Cloak and Dagger. Cap just stalling, trying to delay with the ultimates, keeping him up for the moment, but that execution threshold still too threatening. And Team1 take our first control map. Team Peps sent scrambling. They got the Groot through, but it still wasn't enough.
Damn. I like the way they played that. Just gonna say it, like, just the way, flat out, the way that Team1 approached it, I just liked it. Even like cycling the Winter Soldier. Oh, Naga was unbelievable. Unbelievable with the hooks. He had 2 big hooks in one in the first round and another in the second. Just the dude was just finding marks. Poor Hardest just couldn't get anything going with the Star-Lord with that ult a few times. Just even then, those still had massive impact in the game regardless. But just to be able to stop those ults like that in those moments, pretty big. I like what I saw. I think that this it makes sense it seems like for Trust Me, they kept the Magneto purely because they wanted to make sure that they can have Trust Me to have him the entire time. If I'm misreading that, but that's what it seemed like. Because look at that domination, just so good.
Yeah, it looks. I mean, it's interesting to see this comp from Team1 is something kind of new, kind of different from what we've seen in past weeks. You know, and with these new band phase formats, they've really, it seems, adapted well and invented sort of a new style, one that we haven't seen. I mean, look at the damage stats. I think it's pretty interesting to see how spread across the board the damage dealing is on the Team1 comp, where Team Peps, I think, are more about all-inning on Hardest, letting, you know, the Star-Lord really carry the day and get a ton of buff ups and a ton of team ups. But that wasn't enough. The across the board performance was too solid from Team1.
Yeah, it was. That was impressive. I liked it a lot. I think, like, you know, definitely I've seen some people in the chat be like, I don't like either of these comps, and it is completely valid. But there's something about the way that Team1 were really prioritizing just like being up in your grill and not really trying to like give you space to breathe. And then the moment that the fight would happen, they'd meet you right at the front. They were very good at just being proactive and taking a neutral scenario, but more so putting it on their opponent's side and forcing their opponent more so to come into them because they had so much control of the map. I think, you know, the cap gives you so much, like, so much of an opening. This moment right here, the Wolverine, I mean, my guy just went freaking Super Saiyan, Ultra, Giga, God tier, and just started chopping up mofos. Look at me, quarters of Doctor Strange. Yeah.
Also, I think right now, if you are going to give up the Groot, who many people still kind of regard as, you know, maybe the strongest Vanguard in Marvel Rivals, I think having a Wolverine is one of the best counterplays you could do against the Groot, especially if you're not running one of your own. It puts a lot of pressure on the Wolverine player to find pickoffs and put the Groot in bad situations. So you really have to have very good game sense on the Wolverine. But Melio was able to execute repeatedly on the Wolverine, and it made the fact that Team1 couldn't run the Groot not that big of a deal because the Melio was able to just kind of equalize and limit the impact of the Groot when Team Peps was running it.
Yeah, he had such a presence with Wolverine. It was pretty fun to see him kind of like break down. But I also think too, what you were saying was like they just did a brilliant job of just hard focusing on those tanks, Jake, right? And just making sure that they were not comfortable, that they were not in the fights. I mean, you're literally seeing it happen, right? They're just hounding him down. And granted, that's what you got to do, right? It is the name of the game. But it just feels very deliberate the way that they're approaching it. Like the one that takes me back is when Hulk had the Groot just completely isolated on the other side of the fight. He was just whacking away at him. And like, what's Groot going to do with his walls? He's getting punched in the face by the Incredible Hulk. It's just not going to happen, you know. So I think like those. I want to see more of that. I want to see more of that aggression because we got a little bit of that. I believe it was a FlyQuest, right, from the Shroud event. Like they were very like, you know, in your face, wanting to like make your presence felt. I want to see more of that. I liked it.
I think the Winter Soldier as well is a key component of this. It's not, I mean, Wolverine is grabbing people, pulling them in, Winter Soldier's hooking them in. And so, you know, just like breaking the positional setup that Team Peps wants to play around with this group where they're, you know, very tight as a unit fighting together. They're incredibly strong in that type of a setup. But once they start getting picked to pieces, once they start getting hit from multiple sides, and crucially, their Vanguard's Groot, especially, he doesn't have a repositioning tool. And so that's, you know, they really are exploiting that weakness of Groot. I'm not convinced that that's like there is a hard counter to Groot. I still think the Groot is absolutely winnable. And I think like round one of Control really did show that like this is a winnable strat for Team Peps. I think if they had like had a little bit of a cleaner round one, they could have won it very, very well. But then round two, the Groot, I mean, it's not nearly as effective on that map when you don't have as many tight choke points to like seal off with your walls. You're just not going to be as dominant on the Groot. And props to them for making that recognition and already swapping it up. But then Team1 just looks so comfortable, so confident on the more highly mobile Vanguards.
Yeah, one of our subs actually, Dr. Awesomeness. Yeah, Dr. Awesomeness. Also with the 20, what is that, the 2018? Good God, the 2018 OWL icon. Actually had a really good read on it and said, I think once Team1 shifted to the cap, the comp made more sense. And I think like cap in general, he just opens up so much space for you. He could do so much that it's almost like he's kind of like a pseudo damage dealer in those moments too. So I actually agree with that. The way they played it, and also like, you know, just the cap can just get out of so many situations just with his leap, you know, and
kind of leading into the fights with Wolverine as well, like paving the way for Wolverine. Where Hulk, I feel, I mean, in theory, you can do the Hulk team up and throw the Wolverine in, but I think that's a little bit of a cheese. And you know, Cap ult gives a little bit more of that like team value that you need to sustain through, you know, some of those longer engagements, especially if you're going up against triple strategists.
Yeah, we're gonna say Zeep.
Oh, no, I was just going to say in regards to the cap, I mean, look, what the cap ends up doing is that you think about like ways that a tank is preventing damage from the rest of your team and creating opportunities. You know, obviously something like a shield Vanguard, you know, something like a Magneto or a Strange is pretty obvious. You know, people aren't able to shoot through it and it's a bulwark. Cap is such a force in the backline that it creates situations where basically you have to look at the cap. You're not looking at other threats. And if you have good duelists to back it up, you have scenarios where they're just going to be able to find pickoffs. They're going to be able to come in and create opportunities. And you have a player like Naga, especially the way Naga was playing in the last round. When you look at plays on the Winter Soldier, I mean, you're just going to find big plays over and over again. But what I'm really curious on here is how things shift going into the next map, because Team Peps is historically a pretty well-coached team. They have a bigger staff behind them, and now they get their map choice on this new ban format. So I think they may come out with some new wrinkles, pretty different than what we just saw here on our first domination map.
Yeah. Human Torch gonna go right out of the gate. No shocker there. No one wants to deal with him. Who does Peps look to protect here on Krakoa?
I wonder if there's a change in terms of the Protect Pro. No, everyone just wants the Loki in. So both teams do get like essentially not a fully unfettered protect, but you get, you know, after that first simultaneous ban, you get to protect. So I think both teams are going to probably keep the Loki in. Loki just has such a high skill ceiling as a character, especially a strategist, where I think like at this level of play, every team is going to have at least one player who's just really sick on the Loki and can play their way out of so many scenarios with the flexibility that his kit offers, whether it's the regeneration domain saving you from key ultimates, whether it's the copy being used like differently in different scenarios depending on what the situation calls for, or just Loki's ability to be pretty significant damage dealer in his own right. I think there's a lot of sense in having that protect early.
I
so
see
far,
a lot of these bans
no changes,
being the
right?
Same.
Yeah,
nothing's really changing all that much, and I think that could end up being the pitfall of this system, only because it's like the universal bans removes them from from like their hands and your hands. There's like a sacrifice, whereas here it's like, you just remove the ones that are just strong and you don't like.
Yeah, you just take the best tools away. I think you might be right about that, GB.
Well, specifically what goes into it is the fact that you don't want to necessarily give up massive power to the other team. So in a way, the new system basically forces you to ban the most meta heroes at the beginning, because you don't want to be in a situation where the other team can play Human Torch and you can't. So in a way, the system as it's set right now is going to make things more samey, I think, for a lot of teams, unless you know that the other team just has very specific picks that they're desperately trying to mainline, right? But
we do see a change, though. We do see Team1 protecting the Groot for themselves now. Team Peps, they take out the Wolverine. Are they going to protect their own Groot and take the mirror? Or, you know, do they have a different vision? Do they think they can win? I do think Krakoa is a map where I feel like Groot might be really good. I mean, all 3 points are a little bit more choky than our opening map of the series. So oops, this time they're going to take Prio to keeping, the Magneto. I wonder though, do you ban just Wolverine now as Team1? Yeah, I think, okay, they are just going to take it out. And now it's going to be Team1's turn to show what they can do with the protected Groot. And based on these bans, you have the option to run the full setup here with the Adam Warlock, the Mantis, the Star-Lord. If Team1 wants to go that direction, historically, that's been one of the best combos in Marvel Rivals, although you can run the Magneto too. The Magneto also made it through the draft. So, you know, I actually think that strat, even though Team Peps lost the first round, I think that is an insanely good strat. I think that should win if you play it perfectly, if the execution is really clean. And on Krakoa, it's a great map for it. And if you want it, you've got it if you're Team1.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, before we jump into the action, do want to let everyone know, make sure you head on over to rivalsfightnight.com. Okay, you can enter to win yourself an Intel CPU. Do it. You can see the link in the chat. Do it. Hex posted it. Do it. All right. Make sure you get out there, make it happen. Also, we're so close to 10K followers. One day we'll get to 10,000 subscribers, 10,000 followers. So make sure you follow the channel as well. Tell your mom to follow Rivals Fight Night. I hear she's
these cute
really,
little guys.
Really big
Follow for these cute little guys.
Follow for the cute guys there.
But yeah, getting into it here, it's gonna be interesting to see what change-ups we get in here. Obviously, Team1 is gonna be able to run out the Groot, and they are very happy to do so in turn. Team Peps, meanwhile, okay, yeah, they're coming out with Hella. Melio is also great on Hella, so makes sense there. And rolling out here on the Hulk.
Melio on the, I think Hella looks pretty sick here, especially in the Team Peps comp. Yeah, you could get jumped on by Hulk, but there's not really much follow-up for that. Melio is going to have a lot of free reign to just pump damage. Not the best Hella map, but if you're able to take some of these high ground controls a little bit later on in the fight, this could start to get scary. And it's so hard to take the peak trades against this hero.
And what I'm curious here is what Hardest can get done here on the Namor. I mean, you run with the Hulk, you're expecting to get good production out of the Gamma Squids and just general zone control, especially if you're able to win first fight. Both teams around trading back and forth. Team Peps getting a little bit low. Team1 trading out in turn. Beetle, though, having to back out a little bit. So flow battle a little bit more for Team1. Fake those super low, just barely able to shift out of the danger. That would have been a massive pick for Peps. And yeah, Altwise are almost there, but Melio gonna go down. Both teams down one. Crook, though, able to find a little bit more here for Team1. And Team1 working at a big advantage.
There's a beautiful bulwark by Rajaro there to keep that stabilized. And the copy thrown to the wind here for, I believe that's, yeah, Team Peps. Getting crunched, Hulk getting delayed a little bit. But that's such a nice timed bubble from Rajaro. Like, I think it looks like that 1v1 is like winnable for Leaf. Looks like he's starting to win that trade positively, but then Naga getting the bulwark just overwhelms him. And Team1 having the first ult. That's the value of the C&D, right? Typically, Cloak and Dagger is going to be the fastest ult charge on Strategist, and being able to win the first fight pays big dividends in control. Now you're able to just defend and run the clock down. Team Peps have to make something happen. They have to break this open, but even coming through the choke looks hard for them right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult approach. Also, I mean, when you're running Namor, he still feels a little bit better on defense. No, boy, you lose your Loki early on. The heals just aren't going to be there anymore. I mean, Hulk is pretty greedy for needing heals. Beetle just getting chunked on down. Team Peps, they know it. They have to back out for a moment. Swing the person for Trust Me to try and go back in. And now Team Peps on the turn, dropping the Horn of Proteus, moving on forward. Meteor M from DRP, looking to create any sort of opportunity. Shifting, looking, no, not going to find anything. Meanwhile, Leaf goes on in with the Kraken Impact, able to find one. Rajaro, though, countering with Meteor M in turn. Trade outs both ways while Team1 still maintains control of the point.
Naga crushing them, has another ulti if he wants to continue to cycle it. And now Melio adding in a pick of his own. Hulk uses the shield, but doesn't have any defensive utility left. Now starting to get turned on. Comes to take the fight to Hella, but I'm not sure you can take this. Pulled away. But now forcing the Ultra Hulk could be enough to put Melio in trouble. He tries to bird away. Ultra Hulk still trying to chase down this Hella. She's down the mobility. She's potentially vulnerable. Ulting as well to stabilize. Beetle incredibly low, is going to be able to make it back to the team. Remember, all this time the clock has been running in the favor of Team1. They get a pick and they have a C&D ult to add insult to injury if they want to double down on this first round.
The late pick on the Invisible Woman really hurts Team Peps here. 88%, where don't forget, this was the map choice of Team Peps. And right now it's looking even more definitive here so far for Team1, where they let the Groot through this time around. 98% soon to be 99. And Team Peps, they just let this one go and look to fight another round.
They just got worked over, ZP. I mean, I know the fans are in the chat here for Team Peps, but Team1 just slaughtered your boys. Brutal right now. And the Groot looks insane in the hands of Team1. Looks incredibly comfortable and confident for them.
It's tough. It's really, really tough where they're at right now. And I think if you're Team Peps, you look to shift up something because, look, this is a first to 3. You're going to have another opportunity on this map, but no one loves opening up a series and being down 2 maps to 0. You don't want to go for the reverse sweep to start the day, even though, that has happened in recent Fight Night history. And we'll see if they're able to find anything here. I mean, looks like they may be swapping off Hardest over to the Hella, so could get the Hella duel.
You do have, I will say, for Team Peps in this opening fight of the next round of King of the Hill, is you do have likely a double strategist ult here. If you go with the Loki copy on Invisible Woman into the real Invisible Woman ult, you kind of have quite a long fight here that I wonder if Team Peps can actually outlast. Or rather, sorry, if Team1 can actually outlast. All they have is the C&D ult. So it needs to be deployed defensively and sort of on the back foot for Team 1. We'll see how they play from the ult disadvantage here coming into round 2.
All right. Team 1 looking to put this one away, go up 2 maps in series. Team Peps looking to take their first round, find a sign of life here. Double strategist ults available here for Team Peps at the beginning, so a fight they can extend out. So long as DRP doesn't get taken down in the neutral, DRP getting chunked early on. Invisible boundary going to be dropped here by Team 1. Team 1 sensing a little bit of blood and water, wanting to try and go for more. Team Peps got to drop invisible boundary of their own, slow things down a bit.
Fighting into the invisible boundary, huge good ult on everybody, and they're wiped. Team 1 out of nowhere. Naga just keeps them alive.
They ran into El Clasico, which is Strangling Prison in the Kraken Impact, one of the more devastating combos in the game. And yeah, okay, Naga might die towards the end for Hardest. Doesn't really matter. Full reset for Team Peps. And I mean, I guess one upside, they still were able to save the Loki clone, but Team Peps already in the hole.
Yeah, and Aura just not able to get the copy off in time. One of the downsides of the Loki ult is it takes a couple steps, right? You got to copy your fellow strategist and then pop the ultimate. Rajaro needs to turn this DPI down, bro. I can't see what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, Rajaro actually, it is kind of ridiculous how quick those move around, but DRP, Meteor M connects, finds Trust Me, a very crucial early pickoff onto the group. Gives Team Peps a really nice opportunity as they move forward here. Kraken Impact good to go, however, this could be the equalizer. Rajaro, Meteor M of his own, gets the Loki in the back. And now the healing not going to be there for Team Peps. He got Hardest going to the sky here in Hella, but Team 1 now working advantage. However, the Strangling Prison in from Beetle hits 2. And Team Peps still maintaining on the point. They get their first control of the round.
Trust me, coming back on the Venom, getting a bit of stall, but it feeds a lot of ult charge away. I was hoping to be able to clutch that fight out with the last second swap. Melio ends up falling back. And so Team Peps have really reasserted themselves. The fact that they're able to get that retake, they have the poise and the confidence there to hold on to some of those key ultimates. They don't blow everything desperate for the retake, and that's what they needed to do to give themselves a breath of life in this round. So still winnable from this position for them. As you can see, the Vanguards moving up to preemptively contest this attacker high ground. They want to attack the choke point before Team 1 can really get into the engagement. And a nice hook pull in. Tries to grab the group, but Groot looks like to be able to protect himself with the Ironwood wall.
Man, it would have been huge for Team Peps to get the pick in neutral. This is what happened. Hardest, though, gets Melio. That is massive. Early pick here for Team Peps. Now they can slow it down a little bit more, even things up. They have the cloned Loki ult out at the moment. Leaf hanging on to the Kraken Impact, looking for the opportunity. Naga, though, finds Hardest, able to even things out. DRP, Meteor M up, over, gets Fade in the back. A great Meteor M pickoff onto the backline strategist. Crook is out of it, and Team Peps should be able to hold.
Executes coming in here. Melio pops the ultimate, but it looks to be for nothing here. He's got the shields to stabilize. Kraken Impact being delayed, getting that one extra reset now. Looking for potentially some more. Groot has stepped up a little bit too deep. He's just going to feed. Throwing good money after bad. Leaf doesn't want to necessarily go any deeper, but the clock is starting to run out, and Team 1, as strong as they started this round, it's kind of been crumbling for them in these last few fights. The Invisible Woman has started to pay dividends. Those shields really coming into effect, enabling Hardest to have a bit of an edge in the sniper duel. And Leaf playing with full confidence as well, holding this unique high ground position. Wouldn't be possible without the Invisible Woman.
Yeah, and I think the key for Team Peps in the last fight is just they've had really good focus fire into the backline. The fact that they were able to get Fate out early in the fight was massive, and then quickly followed up with Crook. I mean, once you lose your strategist, it's gonna be difficult, but Beetle, look at the keep up the momentum. Strangling Prison start the fight. Hardest gets Crook off the rip. 2 down here for Team 1, and Team Peps, they have found their footing here, Jake. A great fight here so far, overtime in progress, and Team 1 running out of options.
Yeah, I think you just got to save the ults for next round. No point, unwinnable scenario here for Naga. Team Peps fight it back, bringing out a Groot of their own for the mirror match, and Hardest, I dare say, getting the better of that Hella duel, looking pretty solid for Team Peps, and that gives them their first real shot at a map in this series if they can take Cradle, though. It all comes down to this, and this is a map that gets a lot more congested. I think this is going to be a lot more chaotic, and I'm interested to see how the Hellas navigate the scenario.
The big difference to me when I think about change-ups here is the fact that other teams running a Groot, you should probably run a Groot in turn. So I think Team Peps, they made the proper adjustment here, Jake.
Yeah, I also think Team Peps, I kind of like the Invisible Woman more than the Cloak and Dagger in the long run here, especially once you start mirroring that Hella. I mean, the Hella duels at long range, a shield is like game-breaking. You know, and Cloak and Dagger can play a much faster tempo style and ulting in aggressively a lot more, which did pay off in round 1, but I wonder how significant that will be when so many of these fights are decided by opening picks from our duelists.
Well, speaking of opening picks, coming from the duelist, being able to open with Kraken Impact, pretty darn good. Now, I think here, if you're Naga, you look at the setup, I do think you wait for Trust Me to get Prison. He's close enough that you wait a bit, unless you see a golden opportunity.
Yeah, Team Peps, I will say, they don't have ultimates coming into this fight. They're kind of close on a few, but Team1 definitely is going to have that initiation tempo if they want to take it.
Trust Me, moving forward. Prison nearly good to go. Naga waiting on the cleanup. And now look at Trust Me. Gonna walk forward, taking a lot of damage while moving forward, but the Prison is used. The wall, though, in Naga's face doesn't find it relevant to drop the Kraken Impact in there. The Meteor M instead coming in from DRP as Team Peps get the opening they're looking for. A great wall by Beetle to really stymie Team1's opening.
Yeah, and that was a couple ults deployed by Team1, and they're not really able to get even a bite of that engagement. Team Peps falling back and back and back, bending but not breaking, and when they turn it around, it's a devastating effect. And even the Loki's so late of a death. Poor Crook was trying to play his way out of that one, but got punished, got found out through the invis. That puts Team Peps in a pretty fantastic position in this round. Now can they capitalize on it? They fumbled a little bit back on map 1. Will they make the same mistake again? This is their map pick, maybe one that shows a little bit more comfort for them.
They have a good combo coming in here too, where Trust Me, of course, threw in the Prison, got immediately delayed. Beetle, though, has the opportunity to set up Leaf early on in this fight. So for me, you got to look at Beetle here. See how the Prison is going to set the terms of engagement, and they're back up a little bit, giving Team1 plenty of time to walk on in. Now the walls are being set up. Beetle getting focus fired. Beetle's really low. Beetle almost falls. The focus fire from Team1, really nice for Gyro. Meteor M coming on in. Team1 desperately trying to open this out. They get the invisible one. That is ridiculous. Aura Stealer down, and the fall through gonna be coming on in from Peps.
It all comes down to that crucial kill, and Naga, he's looking to get high enough in the air so that he can get the reset on the Loki clone, see if he can cycle it one more time. Does he have the chance to get it off one more? And that late pick on a hardest. I mean, I don't think he's going to cycle any more of the ulti, but still pretty nice overall in terms of value for the Winter Soldier ultimate. The retake came in. Beetle also couldn't find the opportunity. It's so hard to find the moment for these strangling prisons with how much defensive utilities online with Loki and the regeneration domain. You don't want to blow that ultimate and not win the team fight, but at the same time, holding on to it too long can be a mistake. Team Peps going to portal around, take the fight from the low ground of the point, see if they can get the connection. And Team1 has some powerful ultimates. Hella ult over the top, doing big damage here is a problem. You don't really have the sustain for this, clearing the Loki clones as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's the right place, right time for Melio on the Goddess of Death, just able to thread the needle, get the pick off onto Leaf, and this is buying Team1 a crucial amount of time. They're going to even out here 58 to 58, where, by the way, this is the third and final round, so this has been a very close map here so far, and may come down to the wire, but to the note of Strangling Prison, it's just difficult to land at times with the elevation that is being played, and teams are a little bit split out.
That was the craziest move I've ever seen from Melio. Bro has a death wish. He just burned it into their team to get a bulwark. I don't even know about that one, but he somehow makes it out in time. I think Team Peps were just so shocked by that. They do have that re-engaged DRP with the Meteor M. Has been a difference maker in the past. Gets set up by the group wall.
Hardest, huge pickoff in the backline, somehow finds Crook. Team1 down a massive amount of healing from the get-go. Beetle with the wall, isolates out Naga, takes him down. Larry gonna be falling on the Invisible Woman, so a little bit of opportunity for Team1, but Team1 is on the back foot and then some. Hardest challenging Melio. Hardest, though, gonna get caught by Trust Me. Back and forth we go. Both teams trading out. Team Peps was able to get the recap here, though, Jake, so they're the ones that control the point.
Leaf is really looking for an opportunity to rip this ultimate. Strange Portal is going to be coming in for Team1, trying to hit from multiple angles. But are they going to be able to deal with Hardest, who also has that ultimate, can bring a lot of damage to bear? Team Peps need to find the opportunity to pop their ultis, though. Now, under the threat of that copied Cloak and Dagger, it's hard to find. Melio strikes first, and a second from Naga.
Leaf died mid-Kraken impact, but overall, I don't even think Team Peps was fully reset yet. Over and in. Now 92%. Okay, it's up to Beetle in the Strange Portal. Is the portal going to make it in time? This is kind of in the zone where you're not guaranteed the portal to get here. Someone else is going to have to touch. 98%, 99%. They get the touch, but they lose. Losing the Invisible Wood for the touch is so painful. But the portal is out. Team Peps
kills one.
Yeah, they get one. This is still winnable. However, they lose DRP in turn. Here comes Hardest in from the flank with the Goddess of Death, a Strange in the face, and they're able to immediately burn it down. Team Peps right now just looking for the miracle. The R-Stealer is going to be able to come in with the cloned ultimate in just a second, but R-Stealer goes down! Goes down mid-clone, and that is going to be it. Team1 takes the second map versus Team Peps.
That's a heartbreaker for Team Peps. It was so close. Naga looked amazing on the Strange. We talk a lot about this guy's flexibility in the duelist pool, but I think there's such a difference between the players who just come out on Strange to rip the portal, and it's like, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. It's not that crazy. But then the ones who can actually handle the Strange, the teams who really understand how to play when you get caught in a scenario where, well, we're stuck on Strange now. Like, it is what it is. We got to make our play. Naga really leveraging it well there. We saw him blocking the Hell ultimate. That was high impact. Saw him finding some very key impact kills, especially like you mentioned there on the Loki. So hats off to Naga, showing the flexibility and why it really matters when it comes to this team delivering wins. Team 1 now on the precipice of another qualifier, another shot at the Kings in Virtus Pro. Team Peps in a tough spot. What are they going to do to run this one back?
Oof, I don't know, man. But they did show that they can, you know, when they need to get that win, they can do it, you know. So it's not like it's out of the realm of possibility. It's just that, man, what we're seeing from Team 1 is just such versatility, but also like just a good response and reaction to whatever it is that their opponent's doing. And you know, it's probably because they take so many licks from going up against VP that they become so, you know, fluid in that regard. But I do believe that like that has leveled them up, you know, a substantial amount, and you're seeing like the fruits of that kind of manifesting itself here, because they're so good at just like, even when you think like, oh, you know, this might be a losable situation, like no, like someone gets, you know, in a position, whether it's like, you know, the hella play that we were seeing that was going uncontested largely, or just good spacing, just, you know, knowing when to like peel back to then go back in, like just little things like that I'm just been really impressed from what I'm seeing in Team 1. So more of that, please.
I mean, they're a very consistent team, and it not only consistent but also versatile, because you think back to map 1, they were able to win without a group. They were able to bring out a Wolverine composition that gave a lot of fits to Team Peps even with the Groot. But then as soon as Groot is allowed in map 2, they go, yeah, we're going to play one of the best heroes in the game.
You got to ban the Groot.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're willing to use all options available to them, and they have multiple playmakers on the team, especially when you look at what Nog is able to do in this series, more so in the Winter Soldier, but historically on things like the Namor. And, I mean, look, there are hero plays coming out from Team Peps at times. I think Hardest had multiple moments where he was just able to get to the back line and get clean picks on the Crook, which is super important when you're trying to win fights in domination. But as far as the future goes here, I was a little disappointed to see Team Peps go to a domination map. I would love to see if they have anything in the back pocket that's more on the convoy or convergence game mode, because that's where you can get a little bit trickier in your compositions.
Yeah, where you can have a little bit more variance, you know, because here's the thing, man. I think like you might want to get rid of that Winter Soldier on the Team 1 side. I don't know if you want to deal with that. We're seeing some effective use of the old juggling, especially with Loki in play, like the way that they've just been juggling that.
Cycling the clones on the Loki. I wouldn't hate to see a Winter Soldier ban. I kind of like that call out.
Yeah, that might be interesting. We'll see. But we're going to Spider Islands, which is a you know, good retreat if you happen to, you know, not have arachnophobia like I do. But you know, I mean,
yeah. So going to the convoy, you know, I think it's, like you said, like the asymmetry of an attack defense map could play a little bit more into the strengths. I mean, the deathmatch, the coordination is so strong for Team 1, and they're able to leverage that to maximum effect. I will say, you know, that the last control map was incredibly close, right? Like you make that very winnable for Team Peps. There's something to be said for them thinking, you know what, we just need to run it back. Like maybe if round 1 we had played the group, maybe this could have been a 2-0. Maybe Team Peps, you know, would have just closed it out right there. So still hope for this team yet. I think when it comes to their individual level, they're definitely competitive. Team 1 just looks a little bit more solid in the clutch, which kind of makes sense because they're a team with a bit more experience playing at this top level.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, they're going constantly against the, you know, the best team in EU. They're only going to get better, right, ZP?
They are, and also GB, I gotta say, you're talking about arachnophobia. You know, I'm getting mixed signals for you, because on one hand you're talking about arachnophobia, and on the other hand you're saying you want to see more Penny, which you might be seeing in season 2.5, by the way, because Penny is getting a new team up, where she's gonna get team up with Rocket.
Really?
Yeah, she's gonna have not one but 2 spider nests, and the other spider nest, it's gonna be more durable, and it's gonna shoot out armor packs, and Rocket will get a second BRB. They're trying to make Penny viable. They're trying
and then the bots are just they're also just gonna be turrets. Screw it, you know. We're gonna make them turrets. We're gonna shoot out shields, and on top of that, it's gonna put webbing. I mean, it's and then you get enough kills, and guess what? Tactical nuke. The little thing you send a spider, tactical nuke, and then you're out there. That's what you got to see. Come on, Netties, put it in the game. All right, no. Seriously though, guys, this is an opportunity here for Peps to maybe bounce back out of this, but it's going to be a little challenging given what we've seen so far from this Team 1 lineup. Like we said before, just great team play, good in the clutch, good in those moments when you gotta pull through the win. You need someone to go into a position, make a play happen. You know, one of the DPS is going to be there, you know, or your Wolverine just dives into the line and then just creates all this space. They're making good decisions, Jake. We're seeing a team that is clearly just well put together. So now where you go is, if you're Peps, are you trying to really just hard, like, obviously every band's a counter band, so to speak, but like, I don't know, do you focus on things a bit more rather than going for some of the more meta picks? I mean, I feel like you kind of have to, but I don't know. Want to get your analysis on that.
Yeah, it's a tough question, because there's something to be said for teams like Team 1 that aren't like trying to do some crazy cheeses. Like, they have lost a lot to VP, but they just keep coming back and keep taking swings, and they just know that, like, look, we're not going to get there by like cheesing. You're not going to cheese a best of 5. Like, maybe you get a map like that, which is nice, but Team 1 has been that team that has just gotten reps and reps and reps. They've shown up week after week, continue to compete, continue to challenge VP. You know, they're in the lab scrimming, working, grinding the game to be at the best they can be. For Team Peps, there's like two schools of thought, right? You could try to really change things up and play something that's like super wild off meta, but then is that really going to win you the series, or is it just going to like make things chaotic? Is that a retreat from the confidence that, like, you know what, we almost won the last map, we can win, we just need to execute better, we need to like work on these little details? So it really does depend. I think Team Peps, I wouldn't, as much as like, I know this is why fans always want to see teams when they're in a rough spot, like, oh, change it up, play something totally different. But if you come into that and you're like, you're not practiced and prepared and drilled, that's the difference between these games and like the way most people play the game at home, is that these teams have grinded and practiced. They kind of know the strategies for the most part that they want to play, and to do something completely fresh and new is like, it can also be a bit of a retreat, a bit of a surrender, where you're like, well, we don't really even know what we're doing on this, you know, completely new strat. So I wouldn't hate to see them change it up. I kind of like the idea of something like a Winter Soldier ban, just to force something different. But Naga has also shown incredible flexibility. So how much does banning his heroes really move the needle? Like, he's just going to do it again on Psylocke or Namor or something else.
True. Very true. Very true. All right. Well, we're going into the bans now, and no big changes again. Human Torch going.
Everybody hates the Human Torch.
No one wants to hang out with Johnny Storm.
I think the idea is that Human Torch is like pretty good against Groot. So if you were to like first ban Groot, then the Torch could like still be super effective. And like, maybe there's not really counters to Human Torch properly. So they just like think, if you let the other team have a Torch, even if they take your Groot away and get a Groot of their own, like, you're going to be in a bigger trouble. Even something like the regeneration domain, like how Torch can like clean up a lot of these buildables and a lot of these grouped up enemies. Pretty potent tool to have in the arsenal.
And I'll say it's a forced ban. I actually think it's a very forced ban, because if you don't immediately ban Torch, they can come back and protect Torch on the next set of protects. So you never want to be in a situation where the other team can play Torch and you can't play Torch because of the power level of the hero. So even teams that may have let Torch go through and weren't necessarily always going to play it unless the other team was pre-patch or like pre-system here, everyone feels compelled to ban Torch in this new system as the very first ban, because if you don't, the other team can lock you into a Torch v no Torch situation. So I think we may see this first ban all day long, regardless of team, aside from VP, who still may just ban Groot.
Yeah. Oh, man. No variance. Not even variance with the
I think even VP
are happening.
might be forced to let the Groot through, at least through the first phase. I mean, I kind of agree with you, GB. Like, as much as I like them trying new things with the new ban format, I actually think the asymmetric bans are not as good for the game, because like they more consistently lead to the same outcomes, where you're, like you said, it's like you just ban the strongest stuff, because if you don't, they're going to play it, right? Whereas if this global ban, it's like, we could ban the strong thing, or we could just play it ourselves. But the asymmetric, you're a little bit more pressured to just take like the top meta heroes and just like get them out of the game. And we see a little bit of variance here at the very end of the draft. Team Peps, this time they're going to ban the Magneto. protect the Wolverine for themselves, which actually is a pretty potent final two, I will say, for Team Peps, because that means typically the Magneto's Bulwark is like one of the best ways to save somebody who gets grabbed by Wolverine. So now Team 1, even if you do run that group, if he gets pulled in by Wolverine, there's not going to be that hard save for Bulwark to get him out of trouble. So actually, I mean, it's a small change up. It maybe seems subtle since they've, banned and protected these similar heroes before. Visually, it's not going to look that different. However, I kind of like this. I think it puts them in a decent spot.
Could you substitute with a Hulk that dives in and gives shields to bail out? I mean, it's a bit more rudimentary, but
maybe, but I don't really think nothing's as good as like Wolverine is, or rather the comp is so much stronger with Magneto. So even if you do that, it's like you're creating holes somewhere else in your comp. I actually wonder what Team 1 is going to do to respond. Do they even want to play Groot into Wolverine, knowing that they don't have the Magneto? They might be forced to take things in a different direction.
Yeah, well, let's see if Team Peps can do this, fellas, because back's against the wall, and so far, when it's gone down to the mirror, it has been Team 1 just dominating in those moments where it has mattered most. So Team Peps going to need to step things up now. So, fellas, go ahead. The flow is yours.
Also, big shout outs to the production team where, we got the new change up on the UI for the bands, know what each team is not going to be able to play in the upper left and the upper right. So, we're adapted with the times and where we're at here. The game changes and thus do we. But already we're over and into it. It's going to be Team Peps here on the attack. And all eyes here, Jake, got to be on Leaf to see how Leaf is able to set things up here on the Wolverine.
An immediate opening kill there. Team 1 losing some of their backline, gonna crumble from here. Team Peps fighting this close to their own spawn. These opening picks are enough to secure the team fight, get that cart rolling. The last remaining players here just trying to delay, stall out as they can, but that's a nice pickup by Beetle. Able to open the fight up. Wait, what? Oh my god. What?
That's
Bro,
cold.
he just got slam dunked.
Dude, what the hell did I just see? Bro,
that was messed up.
Over the skybox. What?
I mean,
like a rocket booster?
GB, correct me if I'm wrong. That felt like some Mankind, like jumping off the Hell in the Cell, coming in from LA.
100%. But even funnier too that it was a Wolverine onto a Captain America. So like, hey, screw your super soldier serum, bum.
Oh boy, yeah, but let me treat you the Canadian Weapon X technology. But either way, up and over we go. Team Peps right now. DRP gonna fall here. Team 1 able to get a little bit of stabilization. They're gonna drop the Loki clone right on after, but here comes Leaf with the last stand. Opens things up for Hardest to clean up with the Kraken impact right on after. Team Peps looking reinvigorated with this play between Leaf and Hardest here so far.
I mean, not only does Leaf find, I think, 4 targets with that ulti, but crucially also he's pulling them out of the zone of effect from the Cloak and Dagger ultimate, so that follow-up can come in from Hardest. Beautiful find from Leaf. One of the more experienced Wolverine players, and really, starting to show that as now the Strange Portal comes in. Team 1 wanting to find the rebuttal. Melio has an ult of his own. Team Peps, how are they going to respond to this?
Pretty well, apparently, or like Team 1 on the response, able to find Hardest immediately in through the portal. Rajaro, a really big pickoff, and Team 1 looking pretty healthy. Melio nearly falling, has the passive get triggered, so not gonna have that in a moment. Meanwhile, Beetle trying to keep the pressure up. Liberty Rush off into the back line. Here comes Leaf again with the last stand, picks up another 2. Leaf is absolutely wild so far this round.
Yeah, and Rajaro forced to swap over to the Strange just to enable this contest. They don't have the cap ult. They just can't keep up in the extended fight. Melio as well wasn't really able to find that massive value from the ultimate. And Leaf's kind of lapping him now on the ulti charge, really putting in that work on the Wolverine. Could be a key part of any kind of comeback that's possible for Team Peps. Team 1 need to find some more purchase in this map. They're back to the mirror match, though.
Mirror match gonna be in play. Groot v Groot, both sides. Taking a look here as Team Peps wants to keep this going. Obviously, may just open up here with the clone Loki ult from the get-go. Leaf losing the key passive there, getting bursted, so not going to have as much freedom to hard dive. Melio, meanwhile, just kidnapping Beetle. Quick pick onto the Captain America, and you're early enough in the fight here, Jake, and close up the spawn. You can just wait a little bit here if you're Team Peps.
Oh, they pulled him in away from the spawn door, ulting all the way up to the spawn. Team 1 with full confidence. I can't believe they actually catch those kills. And Crook gets value out of the Invisible Woman copy, really staggering out Team Peps, who are now forced to retake out of their spawn. I like that Beetle's taking this outside approach, going straight to the backline, wants to put pressure on the Loki, already forcing their regeneration domain.
Yeah, I mean, getting the regen domain out early is huge. However, Leaf got caught on the other side. Here comes Hardest, though. Kraken impact. Resets. Got the real Loki. Now, gonna go for the fake Loki instead. Trust me, though. Puts an end to the Kraken impact chain. But enough was done here that respawns are gonna be coming in from Team Peps, and they should be able to get some serious convoy progress as Team 1 waits for the respawns to come back in.
Yeah, Team 1 are playing so aggressive, though. Despite losing that first point, they are really making the attackers work for every inch of progress. Now the Groot ult, trying to catch out, trying to finish some of these kills. Counter ultimate comes in from Melio, but so far not able to get the cleanup. Great response there by the Invisible Woman for Team Peps, keeping them in the fight. Big ult once again. Leaf has just not missed with this. So consistent, the cart continues to roll forward, but Team 1, as much as they're losing quite well here. They've been stalling the cart through every single fight. They're going to have another chance at a retake. The question is, can they actually win the fight? I mean, big ulti's still available for Team Peps. They've endured the pressure admirably.
Team 1 is really drained at the moment. I think next fight, ideally, you hope Crook is able to just quick build up to the clone, get Invisible Boundary down, install from there. But there's a world where Team Peps just goes in early with Liberty Rush, gets the early pick off immediately. Aura Stealer in with the clone Invisible Woman ult. Team Peps gonna try and take the fight to Team 1 before those ults come online. Crook, though, real close to Invisible Boundary, immediately pops him. So Team 1's gonna get what they need to delay. As long as Rajaro stays alive, nearly gets bursted. Team Peps, though, moving on forward. Beetle still into the backline. Kraken impact used by Naga, not able to get too much of anything as Team Peps right now moves a little bit forward. Beetle doing a decent job of getting resources out. Fate gonna drop the Invisible Boundary, and Tunas, trust me, with the Strangling Prison, slows down Team Peps, gets a crucial strategist pick, and now Team 1 has room to move out with.
I love the way Team 1 have played this, right? They managed to bridge the gap, getting those key ultimates up just in time, stabilizing here at the end of the point, and now they're turning what was a victorious team fight into a team wipe here, chasing all the way back to the spawn. A little bit risky. If they lose players here, things could kind of snowball against them momentum-wise, but so far, so good. Team 1 is playing it clean, and that's allowing them to charge up quite a bit more of these ultimates, getting a little bit closer to the Wolverine ultimate of their own, to Rajaro's Liberty Rush. Going to be important. Team Peps once again has the tempo lead, but will they be able to leverage it? There's such a long way to go before you even get to that cart.
I think if you're Team Peps, you kind of pull the 100 Thieves, where 100 Thieves were in trouble. They go, Terra, please save us. I think for Team Peps in this map, the way it's been going, you go, Leaf, please save us. Oh, Leaf may be caught here. Leaf getting very low, nearly had his passive triggered, is going to get healed back up. Last stand, going to be up soon. And I think all eyes here must be on Leaf. He has been the difference maker and the playmaker here for Peps. But Hardest opens up the Kraken impact, gets the reset on the Loki clone early on, still has him reserved. Invisible Boundary now down here from Aura Stealer. Hardest into the air one more time. Leaf so close to the last stand yet so far. Hasn't been able to build it up here just yet. 99 now has it. Good to go. Invisible Boundary in from Larry on the top. Leaf still looking for the opportunity. Strangling Prison is in instead by Trust Me. Takes down 3. The Prison too good from Trust Me. Gonna shut down this push. And if we're going to overtime, Jake, that may be it.
Yeah, that's a great defensive hold there from Team 1. Despite taking a bunch of tough fights in the map overall, their strategy is immaculate. They have the depth. They're playing for the final victory. They're not worried about losing a fight here and there. They have the bigger picture in mind. And it seems like this Team 1 squad has continued to level up, not only taking some of the individual skill to the next level, bringing in players like Melio who had really strong games, but also really having a great read of how to get the most out of these maps, where to take their fights, getting as many fights as possible out of each engagement, or each point rather, on Convoy. And Leaf has been putting in huge work against them on the Wolverine. I mean, the fact that they're able to keep coming back, standing tall, despite the fact that Leaf is just chopping them to pieces on the Wolverine, is mightily impressive to me.
You know, GB, you're watching this. You're hoping for a different look here coming in from Team Peps. What have you thought so far after one round where, you know, it was promising and then in a way it just kind of hit a brick wall?
But notice the thing that you guys said was, oh, looks like Team 1's going to swap over to the mirror. And it literally, like when that happened, that's when things started to just tip over, you know, and go sideways. And then things slowly but surely just started to get worse, and worse. I just think that this Team 1 team is so adaptable. Yeah, we'll have to see. But I think, you know, it's so far, it's not what I would have hoped for map 3. But we'll see. I'm not holding out hope yet, or rather, not giving up yet. I don't know. I can't speak.
Well, the one upside for Team Peps is that you're not always guaranteed to get through first here on Spider Islands. I mean, you think back to the Shroud Gauntlet that we just casted back on Saturday. It ended on first point. You look at 100 Thieves not able to get through first against Envies. So, I mean, it's holdable here. But we'll see if Team Peps is able to dig deep and find that as...
do it.
Yeah.
Well, they throw him in. He gets
Wait,
what?
oh my God! What in the world?
Wait, that was a nasty play. I can't believe that didn't work. They were able to clutch save him. Great hold there from Team Peps. Good presence of mind. Beatles, though, super low. Just barely getting saved up.
It's done some damage. Team Peps is on the back foot. Leaf gets caught as Peps is just desperately trying to back out, get a little bit of restabilization. Now they're about to lose Beetle too. On top of it, Team1 getting pickoff after pickoff, where Team1, Jake, I feel like is better than the norm at turning small wins in team fights into bigger wins off staggers.
Yeah, they're so quick to chase it and look for more kills, and they're doing just that right now. Team Peps continuing to stagger out. They're trying to stay alive, escape, and reset, but it's being punished brutally. Everyone being focus fired, finished down. Leaf has to hide away. And, I mean, they're even threatening, yeah, another kill. Are they even going to get a fight on first point? In contrast with the way that Team1 was able to lose fights, stall cart, and then able to make some retakes happen, I don't know if Team Peps are going to be able to do the same. They're onto the Strange, so that portal should be able to get them into this engagement. But it's going to be awkward. It's going to be very much last second.
They don't touch.
Oh, they don't get it in time. They get body blocked in the portal.
Oh boy, you just have that moment of dramatic silence where neither of us was like, are they going to do it? And they're investing ults here too, and I don't like any of this. Okay, you win this fight, and it's an expensive fight. You just blew both strategist ults and Kraken Impact, and it's at the Team1 spawn. You failed.
Yeah, like that's 3 big ultis, and Team1 I think are very happy to just wipe and reset. They do not care about that, I don't think, one little bit. They're coming in with ultimate advantage. Is 1 point to cap to finish the series. Team1 may have already won this. I mean, they're so solid in these scenarios. Groot ulti comes in, forces the counter response from Invisible Woman, keeps people alive, but Leaf died for his trouble, was trying to get in. Doctor Strange over the top, looking for that Eye of Agamotto. Wants to be able to slip it in, but where will the damage follow-up be? Team1 has been so aggressive. They don't see the Beatles here, though. This could be a window for a big team fight.
Yeah, Beetle up over the top. The Eye of Agamotto is ready. What's it going to be? Drops on down. Only hits Crook. I think hit Rajal too. So 2-man Eye of Agamotto. But Melio is just smashing everyone to pieces on the other end. So the Eye of Agamotto into the backline doesn't really amount to much.
He's emoting. Just flexing on the other Wolverine. He's like, bro, I know I can't catch you.
That was just cool. I mean, that's all that was. It was just cool.
Dude, Melio just soloed. Melio, I mean, talk about a player who came into this team, right? And has seemingly revamped it. He brings the Wolverine, he brings the Hela, bringing incredible flexibility and great skill. Now he's setting up on this flank, looking to grab someone and pull them in, get them to overextend. Beetle coming in to touch cart, but could be vulnerable to exactly that as well. Now Groot caught, forced into an awkward situation. Naga looking for the window to ulti, but doesn't find it.
Hardest gets one here. Team Peps desperately trying to hang on. One pick. They may have what they need here. Leaf with last stand. Did Leaf grab anyone? And no, Leaf right now getting abducted by Melio on the other end. Down the trust beat. Team1 still with options to win this fight. And here comes Naga. Naga, Kraken Impact, good to go. Fate though down, picked off. And Team Peps has done enough damage here. But the problem is, Jake, they got to hold for another 3 minutes on not the most defensible area.
It's got to be perfectly clean, and I kind of want to see what Team1 was able to do here. Is like play forward, play aggressive, make these walk-ups a point of contention for the attackers. It's greedy and you could get punished for it, but by the same token, you need to make some plays happen. If this just is a textbook ult trade, eventually things are going to go against you. Team Peps have a really rough strategic position, so we need to see some individual playmaking. We need to see some pickoffs. By the same token, you can't be caught out. Team1 also looking for those same openings. Invisible Woman ultimate. Naga as well. Coming in for the follow-up. Needs to get a reset. Needs to keep this ulti cycling. So far, can't quite find it.
Not able to get a reset yet, and the elimination they get is not a reset, but you've taken out the Groot. You're almost there if you're Team1. One pick off here so far. The initiation looking good so far. Close to the Liberty Rush is Rajaro. Gets real low, able to get out of danger. Same for Trust Me. Strangling Prison on the deck here with the Liberty Rush. Team1 looking to put this one away. Naga gets another pick. The Strangling Prison is dropped. Team Peps on the ropes. Crook able to finish off Aura in the back. Bit by bit, Team1 is ripping Team Peps apart. Nearly at the apex here of the second point. They're on their way to a rematch versus Virtus Pro for $1,000, and they've done it.
And they're going to get exactly that. Another shot at the belt. Team1 proven themselves as a firm second place in Europe, but that silver medal is starting to wear heavy on them. I think they really do want to give a bigger bite into this VP squad coming into our money match up next. Team Peps, a valiant showing from them, making this more competitive than the series score would lead you to believe. But Team1, the reps, I think, are really starting to pay off for them. They're starting to hit a higher level. Now, a new ban format, kind of changing the meta just a little bit here, could be an opening for a new title challenger, but I hesitate to say that that's even likely. I mean, it's possible, but this is Virtus Pro we're talking about. They have an immaculate record, essentially undefeated at the top level of European competition, and that's who you have to go up against next for if you are Team 1.
Very, very tall task, but doable given how Team 1 have played this VP team in the past. So congratulations, Team 1. They will be moving on for the money match. It's going to be good. Looking forward to seeing how this one plays out here. Of course, that'll be coming up in just a little bit. But you know, there were some moments, man. Hopefully, we can get when the highlights are ready. That fastball special was great. By the way, I don't know, you know, just because I'm a big comic book nerd. I don't know if you guys could tell with all the stuff behind me. But you know, when the first ever fastball special. Uncanny X-Men. Don't remember the issue, but I remember they were fighting, I don't know, some mutant sentinels things. And then this was a thing that Wolverine and a newly joining Colossus on the X-Men lineup came up together. And then from there, it has been a staple in the comics ever since. But what's interesting is that there's no Colossus in, you know, this game.
Well, yeah, that's kind of one of the fears that people had is like, fastball special being given the Hulk and thing. Maybe this means Colossus isn't going to be in the game anytime soon. But
Colossus has to show up. He would be such.
I feel like they just have
tank.
so many. They have so many great options from the Marvel universe to bring into the game. It's just like, I mean, Colossus, there's so many more though, right? From like just the litany of possibilities from the comic book. I think that's exciting for the game overall for Marvel Rivals. So there's just so many great options for lore and heroes they can bring and make and bring them to life in this game.
Yeah, well, a lot of cool things. Speaking of cool, though, we got to go ahead and award a match MVP. So let's go ahead and do that. It is, of course, going to be Melio. Congratulations. And just, my God, I don't want to find you in a dark alley when you're playing Wolverine. Goodness gracious.
Well, look,
my guy was attacking.
I think what it comes down to is that, you know, when it's a close game and you have a lot of candidates for MVP, when you allow yourself to be thrown by Hulk and go into just some ridiculous curveballs to get pickoffs, and you send people off the cliff at times, and on top of doing this in map 1, it's flashy enough that's like, yeah, you are going to be the match MVP in this situation. But, I mean, Jake is well-deserved, too, because you think about it, when you can't run a Groot and you're up against a Groot, you're so reliant on your Wolverine to just be playing at a top level to actually make the match winnable.
Yeah, I think not only is this impressive on this match, but also for me personally, one of the things yeah, this is a ridiculous kill, actually. One of the things I really liked from Melio is that, like, I don't think before this, at least in the last couple weeks when we've seen Melio play, I don't think we've seen him play either the Wolverine or the Hela. And the fact that those were really his two staples in this series, and he was able to make massive work on them, really has impressed me. I was impressed by everything I've seen from him in the hero pool, but he's really solidifying himself as one of the top duelists in the game in European Marvel Rivals, especially right now with incredible flexibility and playmaking. I mean, Wolverine is a very much a specialist character that I don't expect a lot of duelists to really be amazing on Wolverine. He might have great aim, but like handling all the skills for Wolverine, the approach of a melee character, very, very different. And so the fact that he's got it on lock like this, I think has great signs for his future.
And you're seeing all these highlights, man, and Melio definitely putting on a show. This one was cool, just chasing him down, decided, you know what, I'm gonna stunt on these fools. Look at that there. Showed him the weapon X. You know, hit him with it.
We were debating the MVP for a while. It's just like, okay, he did the emote. Yeah, okay, you got
it.
Did
the emote.
Yeah, you get
style points matter in the MVP race, guys. I wish we were purely competitive, but we got style points are significant. I believe was it Nevix who won MVP by typing in the chat, or was it
that's all you got to do.
Typing in Twitch chat while live in the game. That is a strong. You earn a lot of MVP points if you stand on the card and come type in the Twitch chat. That goes hard.
Stun on some fools. You know what I mean? Always be professional, obviously. But that will get you the MVP. You know, you just got to stunt on some fools. That's it. You know, bust out a couple emotes. In any case, though, Team 1, Virtus Pro. It's gonna be our money match. $1,000 on the line, and I mean, I'm excited to see VP, you know, play in person again. But this is a very similar battle. And if you're VP, you know, yeah, sure, Team 1 look good. But, you know, I'm sure you're not like, oh, What's going to happen? Like,
There's no way this VP squad has respect for any opponents at this point. No one has tested them. I mean, it's just like, it's like, come on, like there's no way these guys aren't laughing and having a nice chill time even playing these matches, because at some point you've been winning every single tournament in a row since the game came out. It's like, okay, you got to start to believe that you're just immortal at this point. That is also the most dangerous moment to be a team on the top, is when you start to believe that you're too good, that you can't be defeated. You slip up, you lose a map, the cracks start to show, right? That could cause real problems in a team. And so I think, for VP's future, I'm hopeful that they aren't thinking that way, but it becomes harder and harder. I mean, how can you not have an ego when you're dropping 10 like 3-0s back to back to back? I mean, it's just human nature. At some point, you got to start to expect that that's just the norm. We just are the best, no question about it. Team1 have been the team that has been hustling and grinding and working away. But last week they got 3-0'd. I mean, it was close maps, but I mean, the scoreline don't lie, right? Like in the end of the day, when you go home, you're like, you don't think about that as a player. Well, we played them pretty close, guys. It's okay. No, you feel terrible. You're like, we want to win. These players, nobody plays at this level if you don't want to win.
Well, let's see what ends up happening as we get ready for our $1,000 money match coming up right after this. It's going to be Team1, your winners of the Challenger matchup. Of course, commiserations to Team Peps, but Team1 will be taking on VP. And when we are back, we're going to break it all down. Stick around, folks. This is Rivals Fight Night. We'll see you on the other side.